This is Charles with Embotics. Today I'm going to show you how to secure your vCommander server with an SSL certificate. The first thing that you want to do is navigate to the vCommander keystore and back it up. The keystore is located in the vCommander install directory in the tomcat conf folder. The keystore is just called keystore. You can back this up by copying it to your desktop. The next step is to open PowerShell as an administrator. If we don't run PowerShell as an administrator, the commands we're going to use won't execute correctly. Next, we're going to need to change our directory to the location of the Keytool commands. The Keytool commands are located in the JRE bin directory. The first thing we want to do is examine the existing certificates in the keystore. We'll do this with the Keytool list command. All the commands I'll be using in this demo are in the comments below. As you can see, this keystore contains one certificate, created on August 30th, 2018. This is the self-signed certificate that gets installed with vCommander. We'll need to remove it. To remove the certificate, we'll be using the Keytool command with the delete switch. We want to delete the certificate with the alias of tomcat in the keystore located in tomcat conf keystore. Once we've deleted the certificate, we can run our Keytool list command again to give us an idea of what's still in the keystore. This should return 0 keys. As we can see, our keystore now contains 0 entries. This puts us in the position to create a new self-signed certificate, which will be used as the private key. We'll be using the Keytool command with the genkey switch to do this. Depending on your company's security requirements, you may need to adjust the validity parameter here. This is the number of days that the certificate will be valid for. In this case, I've chosen 365 days. When creating the new private key, we'll be asked some for identifying information. If you have an existing SSL certificate, you can extract this information from it. The answer to first and last name should always be the fully qualified domain name of the server you're securing. My organizational unit within my company is support. My company's name is Embotics. We're located in Ottawa, Ontario. Our country code is Canada. Once you've entered the identifying information, you'll be asked to confirm it. If you've made a mistake, simply type no, and you'll be prompted to enter the information again. If you've typed it incorrectly, just hit yes. When prompted for an additional password, just press enter. This will leave the password the same as the keystore. We've now created a new self-signed certificate for this key store. We can verify this by running the Keytool list command again. We can now see that we have a new certificate with the alias of tomcat created on today's date, October 12th. We're now ready to create our certificate signing request. This next command that will create the CSR file has a few parameters you'll need to change, specifically the subject alternative names. For Google Chrome and newer browsers to recognize certificates as secure, they require more than one subject alternative name. In this case, I've used my fully qualified domain name, my machine name, and another DNS entry that this server is known by. We've now created the CSR. This file will be located in the same directory that we're running the commands from, which is the JRE bin directory. Using the commands from the comments, this file will be called embotics2018.csr. In order to upload this to your certificate authority, you'll need to edit the file and copy the contents. I'll be using Active Directory certificate services for this demonstration. Now, if you're using a certificate authority other than Active Directory certificate services, you may need to specify a different certificate template. The correct template choice will be something along the lines of Tomcat or Apache Web Server. Once you have your new certificate, paste it into the JRE bin directory. The P7B file format for certificates is a complete chain of certificates. So when importing this type of certificate chain, you only need to import it under one alias. The alias is Tomcat. If you're using another certificate authority or are unable to produce a P7B file, you'll need to download the root, intermediate, and machine certificates separately. To import the P7B certificate, you'll need to use the Keytool command with the import switch. Make sure you specify the alias Tomcat, the correct file name, and the correct key store. You'll be prompted to accept the reply. Simply type yes and hit enter. When you see the message, certificate reply was installed in keystore, that means you've completed the process successfully. The last step is to restart the vCommander Windows service. Next, I'll be showing you how to import a root, intermediate, and machine cert separately. This is the process you will need to follow if you're unable to obtain a P7B file from your certificate authority. If your certificate authority has provided you with individual root, intermediate, and machine certs, you need to download them all individually. In some cases, a certificate authority may combine the root and intermediate certificate. In this case, those should be imported under the alias of root. You'll need to copy all three certificates into the JRE bin directory. Next, we'll need to execute the commands in a specific order to import them into the keystore. We'll be starting with the root certificate. The proper alias to use is root. The file name must match the root certificate file name in JRE bin. You'll be prompted to trust the certificate. You'll need to type yes and then hit enter. Next, you'll need to import the intermediate certificate. The correct alias is intermed, and the file name will need to match. When you see the message, certificate was added to keystore, that means the intermediate certificate imported correctly. Last, you'll need to import the machine cert. The correct alias for the machine cert is tomcat. The file name will need to match the file name of the machine certificate you received from your certificate authority. When you see the message, certificate reply was installed in keystore, that indicates that you've imported all 3 certificates correctly without issue. The last step is to restart the vCommander Windows service. Now that the vCommander Windows service has been successfully restarted, we can verify that the certificate was applied correctly and that vCommander is secure. By navigating to the vCommander admin console, you can see that there's now a lock in the address bar. If you click on this, you can see that our certificate is valid and the connection to vCommander is secure. If you wish, you can inspect the certificate further. As you can see, our certificate chain is complete, with our root, intermediate, and machine certs successfully applied. This has been Charles with Embotics. If you'd like to see more vCommander tutorials, please subscribe to our channel.